Okay.
be a quorum once we take roll.
Okay, then we will go ahead. I'll call the meeting of the State Finance Council to order. Jake, could you please call the roll?
Yes. President Masterson. Senator Alley. Senator Sykes. Senator Billinger. Speaker Hawkins.
Here.
Representative Croft.
Here.
Representative Miller.
Here. Actually, here in Detroit.
Representative Waymaster.
Here.
And then Governor Kelly.
I'm here.
I show that President Masterson, Senator Alley, Senator Sykes, and Senator Billinger are absent.
This is Senator Alley. I'm here.
Okay.
Okay, Senator Alley is present.
And I believe that gives us our quorum.
Yes, Governor.
Okay. All right, with that then, I need a motion to approve the minutes of the June 7th meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved, Speaker.
The speaker moves. Second?
Second.
And was that Representative Croft?
Yes.
I couldn't hear that. I have a motion from
Yes,
Senator.
Governor, I second.
Who provided the second?
Representative Kraft.
Okay. Very good. All right. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the minutes are approved. All right, the first item on the agenda today is the request of the Department of Commerce to approve the sale of the former Dodge City Workforce Center building located at 2308 First Avenue in Dodge City, Kansas. I think we've got Bobby Kosmala from the Office of Facilities and Property Management to provide an overview. And then we've got Amber Cabrera and Danny Decker from the Department of Commerce are also present to answer any detailed questions. Bobby, could you please proceed?
Yes, good afternoon, Governor, council members. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. I am presenting the proposed sale of the property located.
Bobby, could you get a little closer to your mic?
Yes. I am presenting the proposed sale of the property located at 2308.
Can't hear him.
Okay, I just turned up my speakers and it's better. Bobby, try it again. Let's see if people can hear you.
This property is owned by the Kansas Department of Commerce and was formerly the Dodge City Workforce Center. During the pandemic, local workforce investment boards who partner with the Kansas Department of Commerce began exploring a smaller footprint, providing more efficient delivery of spaces and services, and the eventual determination was made by the Kansas Department of Commerce to lease space from the city of Dodge City. Commerce requested authorization from the U.S. Department of Labor to dispose of the asset and was authorized to obtain open bids on the property, as all centers are supposed to 100% federally funds. In a letter to the Department of Administration, Secretary Tolan requested the Department of Administration declare the property as surplus and requested assistance to dispose of the property per KSA 79 or 756609. The governor concurred with the declaration, and the Department of Administration ordered an appraisal, and it was determined the property would be sold via public auction. The building is a one-story brick-face building, 3,538 square feet on a slab of 13,000 square feet or 0.3 acres parcel with 10 parking spaces. The property was developed in 1971 by the Transportation and formerly housed their area headquarters. The property then transferred to the Department of Labor for use as a workforce center. During reorganization, the property was transferred to the Department of Commerce and continued to be used for workforce development programs, assisting job seekers to find necessary tools and training to build their careers until the surplus declaration. The property is zoned C2, commercial highway, districts usually suitable for a wide range of goods and services. The property was advertised for sale via the Kansas Register, the Department of Administration listserv, which is a direct email notification system to register bidders, to approximately 300 participants, and by state contracted auctioneer via various mediums, including newspapers, direct mail brochures to nationwide prospects, television and radio, and signage posted on the building grounds. Additionally, 2 separate houses were held prior to the auction for potential buyers to view the building and ask questions. Similar to Salina, the property was first appraised at $132,000. A second appraisal was completed at the request of the U.S. Department of Labor for $177,000, and the highest bidder from the 8 registered bidders at the public auction held on April 26, 2023, was $255,000. The highest bidder, Capital Development LLC, presented the auctioneer and the state of Kansas with a check for $28,050 earnest money to hold in escrow until the sale is approved. The auctioneer, the Department of Administration, and Commerce are pleased with the outcome of the auction. The building is nearly 52 years old, only has 10 spaces, and Commerce has had ongoing issues and concerns related to a full roof replacement, parking lot drainage, and maintenance and upkeep. The estimated monthly expenses for utilities, electricity, gas, water, and phone is about $400 a month or $4,800 annually. The approval by this council would also allow the building to be placed back on the tax rolls as it currently exempt. The proceeds minus fees paid by the Department of Administration will be deposited accordingly. The Joint Committee on State Building Construction has been consulted, and once we have your approval, we plan to close on this property immediately. Thank you.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for Bobby?
Governor, this is the speaker.
Okay, Mr. Speaker, go ahead.
Yeah, the only question I have is, were there any questions by the joint committee at all? Was there any comments or anything like that?
Bobby?
I mean, there were, I guess, kind of off the cuff comments, so to speak. But I don't know in terms of any kind of formal comments or motion that they might have made to this council, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, any other questions for Bobby? If not, then I need a motion to approve the resolution for the sale of the building in Dodge City.
Governor, this is the speaker. I move that we authorize the sale.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Is there a second?
Governor, I second it. This is Representative Waymaster.
Representative Waymaster seconds. We need a roll call vote. Jake, could you take that?
Absolutely. And Governor, it appears that President Masterson and Senator Billinger have joined us as that discussion with Bobby went on. So I'll start from the top. President Masterson.
Yes.
Senator Alley.
Yes.
Senator Billinger.
Aye.
Representative Hawkins.
Yes.
Representative Croft.
Yes.
Representative Miller.
Aye.
Representative Waymaster.
Yes.
And Governor Kelly.
Aye.
I show 8 votes. So the motion to approve the sale of the former Dodge City Workforce Center passes.
Very good. Let's move on to the next item on the agenda. It's the request from the Department of Commerce to approve the sale of the former Salina Workforce Center building located at 203 North 10th Street in Salina, Kansas. Bobby, could you explain this one?
Thank you, Governor. Yes, I'm presenting a second proposal for the sale of property located at 203 North 10th Street in Salina, Kansas. This property is owned by the Department of Commerce and was formerly the Salina Workforce Center. Once again, the office shifted to lease space in Salina after the building sustained extensive damage to heating equipment and water supply piping from a freeze-up during a massive winter storm in February of 2021. Evergy, the electric supplier, announced widespread rolling blackouts in the Salina service area. When the electricity service was restored, the HVAC equipment was not able to be restored to normal operations to heat the building. Keeping in line with current trends, a smaller footprint providing a more efficient delivery of spaces for their workforce center programs, assisting job seekers to find necessary tools and training to build their careers, Commerce eventually made the determination to lease office space from Kansas Workforce Center 1. Commerce then requested authorization from the U.S. Department of Labor to dispose of the asset and was authorized to obtain open bids on the property to all centers as supported with 100% federal funds. Once again, in a letter to D of A, Secretary Tolan requested the Department of Administration declare the property surplus and assistance to dispose of the property per KSA. The governor concurred with that declaration, and Department of Administration ordered an appraisal, and it was determined the property would be sold via public auction. This building was built in 1970 and is a one-story brick face building, 5,040 square feet, approximately 16,875 square feet, or 0.39 acres with 14 parking spaces. The property is zoned C1, restricted business district, so potential buyers could face some local restrictions. The property was advertised via the Kansas Register, the Department of Administration listserv, and once again to those same registered participants and our same contracted auctioneer via various mediums, direct newspapers, mailers, brochures, and their website, as well as radio and signage posted on the grounds. Additionally, 2 open houses were held prior to the auction and open for viewers to view the building and ask questions. Property was first appraised at $82,000 due to repair estimates provided by Commerce. The United States Department of Labor requested a second appraisal be completed for the property. The second appraisal was for $172,000, and the highest bid from the 4 registered bidders at public auction held on April 27, 2013, was $50,000. The highest bidder, Kansas Property Investors, LLC, presented the auctioneer and the state of Kansas with a $5,000 earnest check to hold in escrow until the property is approved. The facts are the building is nearly 53 years old, and to address the necessary HVAC and plumbing issues and other building concerns, it's going to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. The appraisal completed a stagnant growth market in Salina, and that the trend is only predicted to continue. Therefore, the auctioneer and the Department of Administration and Commerce are all in agreement that no additional money was left on the table. Department of Commerce is still responsible for the maintenance and upkeep, as in Dodge City, until the building is sold. The estimated monthly expenses by Commerce is once again around $400 or $4,800 annually. The approval by this council would allow the building to be placed back on the tax rolls. It is currently exempt, and the proceeds minus those appraisals that we received, paid for originally by D of A, will be deposited accordingly by Commerce. The joint building on state building construction was consulted, and once again, after we have your approval, we plan to close on the property immediately. Thank you.
Okay, any questions for Bobby?
Governor, this is a speaker.
Go ahead, Mr. Speaker.
And not necessarily a question, more of a comment. In reading all of the material we received, I believe that the Department of Commerce is correct in that we're getting probably absolutely all we can get out of that property. The property is not in very good shape. But it just goes to show how bad our appraisal processes are sometimes. 2 appraisals one at 87 and one at 160 some thousand or whatever it was, and we get 50,000 out of it. A property is worth what a buyer is willing to pay and a seller is willing to take. And quite frankly, I feel like our appraisal process sometimes is very much lacking. And so, although I'm going to support it, I just do think it's indicative of what's going on in the market sometimes, where properties are appraised way above what they're possible selling, what they can possibly sell for. So, I do think we should sell it though. So, thank you for giving me the time.
Well, I appreciate those comments, Mr. Speaker. I was having the same reaction, on both of the properties. The two different bids or appraisals were quite divergent. So I think it might be something we do want to look into. Anybody else have any other questions or concerns?
Governor, this is Senator Billinger. I've got a couple of questions and comments.
Okay, please go ahead.
Okay. Hey, Bobby, when this building was purchased, what did we pay for it? I can't hear him.
Bobby, you're on mute.
I'm sorry, I didn't know I muted myself. Senator, I would have to go through Department of Commerce to get that information, because it was once again originally purchased with USDL funds, federal funds, back in the 70s. So I would have to go back or try to find somebody that has that information and provide it to you.
Okay, and did we have no insurance on the electrical issue in the winter?
No, unfortunately, due to the fact that we're self-insured, we don't carry insurance on our properties. So that what comes into play for some of the 5-year capital improvement plans, when the agencies will request those funds to kind of make those upgrades. Now, obviously, if there's a rolling blackout and that damages the system, that doesn't do us any good, and the agency may have to request funds for future years. But to answer your question, no, there is not insurance on that on those items, unfortunately.
Okay, and the appraisers, were them local Salina appraisers, or were these appraisers from out of the area?
So they were all local. To give you a little bit of more insight. So once we start the process with the agency or the requester, in this case, Commerce, then I will reach out and make sure that once again, our agency, the Department of Administration, and the governor's office is in concurrence, that we can surplus the property. At that point, then I am directed by statute to contact the Director of Taxation, who then provides usually 3 to 4 appraisers in the general area. And then from there, I can negotiate with them. Once again, it all comes down to price and then who may be available as well. So that's how the appraisers were selected. So yes, one was in the Salina area, and then the others were, I believe, one gentleman was from Manhattan, another guy was from Hutch. So they're all, yes, they all are local to the general area.
Yeah, because my big concern is, when the second appraisal was 172, we're getting less than a third of the value. What are we paying at the mall per square foot? And how many square foot are you leasing there?
The Department of Commerce is leasing in Salina at the mall. They are paying $10.42 a square foot, which across the state is a very good and low rate. And they have 2,604 square feet, Senator.
Right. So we're talking about selling this building, which is 5,000 square feet, for $10. That's what the 50,000 comes up to. That's a real concern of mine. I've talked to a couple of realtors in Salina, and no one there seemed to know this was even for sale. The billboard out in front said starting bid 100,000, and here we are. We're talking 50. I think most folks who went by there probably thought, 100 was maybe out of their range or whatever. And now here we're talking about accepting a bid at 50,000. I just, it bothers me that we wouldn't just step back and say, wait a minute, why don't we talk to some local realtors, see if, if what the value really is, if they can sell it for more or less. I mean, it's quite shocking to me when we go that much under appraisal. I mean, the Dodge City deal is pretty easy because if you look at inflation and you look at the cost of things, I don't think you could even buy this bare lot in downtown Salina for $50,000. You couldn't even buy a lot down there for that. I just, to me, it's maybe all that it was going to bring that day, but it seems to me like when you talk to realtors that didn't even know this building was selling, and they tell me that 10th Street's not a main street in Salina, so it isn't like you're going to have a lot of traffic by that street either. And my other concern is these folks that need the training. Most of those folks probably live in downtown Salina. Most of all your rentals are downtown. They're not out by the mall. They're not out in them new homes out there south of Salina. These folks live probably pretty much in the rental area. They're more of a transit type employees that probably benefit most from this. And what's the plan if the mall in Salina closes? There's not much left in that mall.
Senator, in terms of, a plan, if that office was to, have to relocate, I may have to defer to somebody from the Department of Commerce, Amber or Director Bean or Danny Decker.
Because I think they've already had a bankruptcy there once, and these malls aren't doing very good.
Does anybody from Commerce have an answer to the senator's question about what would happen if the mall were to close? Amber, are you there?
I mean, we would definitely go out and look for a new location. I mean, I can say that much with certainty. or we would try to see if there was an opportunity to co-locate with another agency. But typically some of our larger agencies that do have space, like a DCF, things like that, they're kind of getting full because typically I do try to place, a one-off individual.
Well, thank you. I will just mention one other thing. The Building Construction Committee did have quite a little conversation on this. That they weren't too pleased about the way this transpired. It seemed to me like one of the suggestions was, if it doesn't bring close to appraised value, we at least step back and say, wait a minute, let's reevaluate this before we accept a low offer like that. I'm not going to support this.
Any other questions for Bobby?
Hey, Governor, this is Ty.
Okay, Senator Masterson, go ahead.
Yeah, just quick, because, real estate has a lot to do with, because that does give concern with what Rick was saying. What kind of conditions the building in, or what kind of a layout, or, is it going so cheap because it's in real bad position or condition, or, I don't know, just in bad shape where the current rehab costs would be so much, nobody's willing to get, it's more of a burden than it is anything else. I'd like to know a little more.
Yeah, I think Senator Bobby covered some of that in his report, but Bobby, you want to go back over the condition of the building and the estimates for repairing the damage that was done during the winter freeze in 2020?
And Governor, I apologize for my target. I had it on my calendar at 2:15, so I came in 7 minutes late.
You're forgiven.
No, that's perfectly fine. Yes, there are definite conditions that make the building pretty much inhabitable. Estimates for the HVAC, the roof, to bring everything. Honestly, they've Commerce about $245,000.
That's the rehab estimate on it?
Correct. To get it up and running, based on the damage that has been done, and then other items that they needed to be done through deferred maintenance. One of them being including a full roof replacement. they had estimated it around $245,000 in repairs. And that was something that was obviously divulged to all of the appraisers during that time, so they could do their due diligence and then let the potential buyers know as well.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for Bobby? Okay,
Governor,
yeah, who's this?
this is Larry Elling.
Okay, go
One of the
ahead.
questions, this building has been unoccupied then since 2021?
Yes, that is correct.
And again, we're self-insured, so we didn't have an attempt to fix it back up.
That is correct, Senator.
Okay, thank you.
Bobby, I have a question about the self-insurance. Is that the first $5 million of damages?
I would have, I don't want to misspeak. I would have to look that up. I don't know if maybe, if Pat Doran is on.
No, Jake Hansen, do you know? You're on mute.
Unfortunately, I don't have that information available to me. I don't know what the limit would be for our self-insurance policy.
Okay. I recall because there was a lot of damage out at K-State several years ago, and this issue came up. And I think that the $5 million was, we're self-insured at that level. And then after that, we do have some sort of coverage. But, you know, in this case, obviously, the damages didn't come anywhere close to $5 million. Okay, any other questions for Bobby? All right, hearing none, I need a motion to approve the resolution for the sale of the Salina Workforce Building.
Governor, this is the speaker. I make a motion that we sell that building.
We have a motion from the speaker. Is there a second? Is there a second?
This is Representative Miller. I'll second the motion.
We have a second. Jake, we need a roll call vote.
Yes. Senator Masterson,
Yes.
Senator Alley,
Yes.
Senator Billinger,
Nope.
Speaker Hawkins,
Aye.
Representative Croft,
Aye.
Representative Miller,
Aye.
Representative Waymaster,
Aye.
and Governor Kelly.
Aye.
The motion passes 7-1.
If it makes anybody feel any better, I did a quick math, and you know, we were up 78,000 on the appraisal versus the selling price on the Dodge City building. If we add the 50,000 that we just got for Salina, we're up at 128,000. So if we package these two, we did okay. So with that,
Thank you, Governor, committee members.
you're welcome. Take care, Bobby. The final item to be considered at this meeting is the request of the Office of the State Fire Marshal to increase expenditures from the Emergency Response Fund for incident responses to the white powder threat emergencies. Before we hear a motion to go into executive session, Robin Crumpton with Legislative Administrative Services can explain how this will work via WebEx. Robin, are you there?
Governor, yes, this is Robin Crumpton with IT, and in just a moment, the entire state finance council members are going to see a pop-up come and at their computer, as well as Doug Jorgensen with the State Fire Marshal's office. It's going to ask you to join the breakout room, so you'll want to accept that. Everyone will then go into that breakout room that should be there. The people outside of that room and the public will not be able to hear anything at that time. Once the time has expired, you will be asked to move back out to the main session. At that time, everyone will be able to hear what's going on within the meeting. Any questions?
Any questions?
Governor, this is the speaker. My only question is why are we needing to go into executive session for this issue?
It's because we're discussing security measures.
So do we need to discuss security measures, or are we just discussing paying for the cost of what happened?
Mr. Speaker, we could limit the discussion to that.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much common knowledge of what happened. And so it's not like we don't even really need to discuss that part of it. We just need to discuss how much we need to allocate to their budget to pay for that.
Yeah, or to increase their expenditure authority.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. I don't have a problem with that, Mr. Speaker. How about everybody else?
This is Representative Waymaster. I agree with the speaker. If this is just giving them more authority within their line item, I don't think we need to go to executive session.
If everyone,
I'm fine.
okay, then we will not go into executive session. So, Robin, you can cancel it all out.
Sure thing. Thank you.
Okay, and we will just stay in regular session. What I think I'll do is have the Fire Marshal, Doug Jorgensen, explain the need for the expenditure increasing their cap. Doug?
Thank you, Governor Kelly. We have an emergency response fund that we sort of keep a approved limit of about $500,000 in for any disaster responses, both in state and out of state. And then we have 9 hazmat teams across the state. We have MOUs with local departments around the state that provide the manpower, and then we provide equipment and training for those teams. And in the recent event, we had 8 of those hazmat teams active. And we estimate our bill for those teams, even as of this week, will approximately be around $170,000. But we have a $25,000 limit on what we can spend out of our emergency response fund per incident without Finance Council approval. So that's why I'm here today, is to get approval from the Finance Council to spend up to $170,000 for this event.
Any questions for the Fire Marshal? Okay, hearing none, then I need a motion to approve the Fire Marshal's request for raising the expenditure limit on that fund to $170,000 for this one-time expense.
This is Ty. I'll move it.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Speaker, second.
And we have a second. Jake, we will need a roll call vote.
President Masterson,
Yes.
Senator Alley,
Aye.
Senator Billinger,
Aye.
Speaker Hawkins,
Aye.
Representative Croft, say again, I couldn't hear you.
Aye.
Representative Miller,
Aye.
Representative Waymaster,
Aye.
and Governor Kelly.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, very good. Mr. Speaker, thank you for that suggestion. Saved us some time. And thank you,
Yeah.
Doug Jorgensen, for the report. Okay, I believe that concludes the July 7th State Finance Council meeting. I need a motion to adjourn.
Governor, before you adjourn, could I say one thing? This is Speaker Hawkins.
Proceed.
Yes, thank you, Governor. I do want to thank Senate Minority Leader Dinah Sykes for coming out and condemning the act. I appreciated what she did. I sure wished I would have heard from our governor about that.
I appreciate that, Mr. Speaker, and you can rest assured that there is no way in the world that I would approve or condone this kind of action. I am waiting for the KBI and the FBI to complete their investigation so we know all the facts of the case, and then I will be issuing a formal statement.
Thank you, Governor, and I move we adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, we're adjourned. Thank you.